I'm a freshman in college, and I've just met the perfect girl. She had beautiful hair, she was intelligent, kind, and she had a country accent, which was new to me coming from California. Her name was Amber, and she was on the dance team, and she had a lot of suitors. And to be completely honest with you, I had no chance with her. She was way out of my league. But I had one thing that other guys in college didn't have. I had persistence and I had patience. Amber, she posted on Facebook one day that she was looking for volunteers to go running with her at 6 o'clock in the morning before class. And I signed up immediately. And to my surprise, and Amber's, no one else signed up either. She was very much a runner. I wasn't, but I liked her, so I just did it. My roommate and he disagreed on my tactics. He felt that I should have just asked her out from the get-go. He said women appreciate honesty. And I told him that dating is a marathon, not a race. And I learned that from the Notebook. I ran with this woman for 3 really long months, and then on January 1st of 2012, I decided I was going to ask her out after our first run of the year. And I know it's early, but I wanted to get my offer in before anyone else could. I knew they were coming, and I needed mine to go in first. So I asked her, and to both of our surprise, she said yes. And so I had almost 2 months to plan the most perfect Valentine's date with my dream girl, and I didn't. I don't know what happened. I talked about this date to everyone. Everyone within a 5-mile radius of school knew that I was going on this date with her, but I just never planned it. I woke up Valentine's Day and I said I'm going to make a makeshift plan, and I found a restaurant that was 2.5 stars, which in Mississippi that's 5 stars. They had a Valentine's dinner, $20 for 2, which is great because all I have in my account was $31. So the whole plan for me was to start this date off by getting her some $5 roses from the guy on the side of the road who sells them in between traffic stops. And that's not because I'm cheap. It's because I support local business. After that, we're going to go to dinner, $20 for 2, and then we're going to finish off the night by swinging by McDonald's and getting a $3 McFlurry, and we're going to share it. And if all goes well, I'm expecting a kiss at the end of the night. And though I exuded much confidence in this date, I was actually very nervous. I was very sheltered growing up, and so this was my first date ever. And it's on Valentine's Day. It felt like the World Cup, the Super Bowl, and the Oscars of dating all in one. I was so nervous that I ended up calling my mom, and I stayed on the phone with her for 2.5 hours of her just trying to pep talk me for this date. And it's cute and all, but this was way too long because I was an hour and a half late to picking up Amber. And she wasn't happy about it. I gave her the roses, and that kind of helped. And then we drive, and we get to the restaurant, and there was a line outside of the restaurant, a really long line, and I didn't make reservations, and so it was an hour wait, and Amber did not want to wait, and so we left, and we went down the road. We found the next restaurant, which it was a Chinese-American buffet. It was a Mississippi 1-star, and we get into the restaurant, and we finally get food, and I wasn't really focused on food. I had a plate full of string beans, kiwi, and shrimp. My focus was on texting my mom underneath the table, trying to get her to transfer money into my account, because this new restaurant was not budgeted for at all. I didn't have enough, and so I'm texting my mom, and Amber's getting mad at me justifiably, and this date is spiraling downhill. I can feel the tension at the table. However, I've watched enough Lifetime movies with my mom to know that this situation can be fixed. Without hesitation, my brain came to the great conclusion that on this first date ever with my dream girl, that the only way that this could be fixed is if I tell her that I love her. Yeah. But I wasn't going to do it in a weird way. I'm going to do it in a sexy way. So I grabbed that plate of string beans and kiwi, and I write out the words, "I love you," with the food. And I turn the plate around and I push it towards Amber. And she looks at it and she half smiles and says, "Thanks." Not "I love you too, Esmond," just "thanks." And then she took out her phone and took a photo of it while laughing. And she didn't say anything, and I didn't know what to say, and we just kind of sat there. And then the waiter came and broke the silence and asked if we wanted dessert, and Amber said no. So that ended up being a good thing, pending my current financial situation. My mom came through, and we were able to pay for the food, and then we started driving home, and I want to express to you all that this was the worst drive ever of my life. It was 35 minutes, and I didn't have a radio in the car, so it was just cutthroat silence. We drive, I get to her dorm, and I park the car and turn it off, and I know I have to say something, but I can't think of what to say, and so I just reach into the Lifetime vault again, and I said, "Amber, I had a really great time tonight. I hope we can do this again sometime." And she said, "Esmond, I think we need some space." And at this point in my life, whenever something awkward happens, I would make a joke. And so I said, "Great, Amber, how's a week sound?" And she didn't laugh at that at all. She got out of the car and walked into her dorm. And then I drove back to my dorm. And I sat there in the car. And I'm not even going to lie to you all. I played Adele music in the car. I just sat there and played her whole album. And I was playing this specific song called "Turning Tables," and it was on the 8th play of the song, and it's finishing up, and I see Amber walking across the field towards my dorm, and I take off my seatbelt, and my heart starts beating a little bit. This is that moment where she's coming to say, "Esmond, I forgot to say it at the table, but I love you too." And then I see a hockey player come out of my dorm. And not only that, but a black hockey player. So a unicorn in and of itself. They hug, they embrace, and then they go into my dorm. I like to tell myself that they were going to Bible study. But I wasn't invited. And I sat there in the car for hours. I couldn't move. For 2 reasons. One, because my roommate was inside of my dorm waiting to hear how this date went, because I had been talking about it forever. And the other part was that I needed Amber to leave my dorm. You see, the way that our dorm was set up, the walls were paper thin, so if someone was having Bible study, you could hear all the verses. And so I sat there in the car, and she never came out, and I ended up sleeping overnight in the car. I woke up the next morning, and I told myself immediately, I will never say I love you again to anyone. And I avoided Amber for the next 4 years. I just changed my trajectory of college. I changed my major, and I didn't go around her at all. And I got to my senior year of college, and it was in May, and I got a Facebook message from Amber, and she sent me a picture of the photo, a photo of the plate that I made for her. And she said, "Hey, I was just scrolling through my phone and saw this. What a fun night. I hope all is well." And that was my first time ever seeing that photo. I had forgot about this. I had buried it. And I was looking at that photo, and it was just funny. It was hilarious. And it was weird that this moment that brought such traumatic experience for me was just hilarious. And me and Amber, we met up shortly after that, and she said, "Esmond, I thought it was a very cute gesture, and I tell my friends about this all the time, and we wish that they said they wished it could happen to them." And I said, "Thank you, Amber, that really means the world to me," and it did. She then said, "Esmond, I know it's been a couple of years, but if you're up to it, I'd love to go on another date with you sometime, but I'll have to plan it." Thank you.
Second time around, oh, second time around. Woo! I think it's gonna be better. Oh, the second time around.